In this video, I just want to quickly, discuss the difference between science and pseudoscience. How would you discern between the two? Well, it's actually not as difficult as you think. So anybody can make a scientific claim. I can make a scientific claim. I'm a moron and I can make a scientific claim. I can tell you, if you put a magnet underneath your bed, you'll never get a headache ever again. And I can convince people that that's true. I can give you witnesses and all this stuff. How would you prove whether or not what I'm saying is true or untrue? And actually it is so simple. And you can do this with any scientific claim. You can do this with anybody's arguments, whatever they're arguing about, or anything. It's simple. Whenever the media tells you something that's supposed to be about science, or anybody does, simply look for peer review. If it's not peer reviewed, then it doesn't necessarily mean what they're saying is wrong, but be skeptical. Even if it's peer reviewed, be skeptical, but you'll be more skeptical if it doesn't pass peer review. Please look up videos on peer review, how peer review process works. I really don't want to get into it too much, but basically you publish a paper, you present your findings, and other scientists will of course review your findings and then decide whether or not it's going to be published. And of course anybody can go through your methods and do your experiment, and of course they need to get the same results that you got each and every dang time they do it. Now, when someone makes, pseudoscientific claim, sodium bicarbonate cures cancer, mineral water or herbs and all this stuff, the pharmaceutical company's against you and they're just trying to make money off you. Well, they need to be able to prove it. Because think about it. If water companies find a way to make money off of water, which is free actually, I can assure you that anybody can make money off of herbs and all this stuff. Pharmaceutical companies will figure that out. It has to be peer reviewed. I know a lot of theists and social justice warrior types, they don't like science because of peer review. They don't like math because math requires only one answer. And of course some of the claims they'll level against science is like, well, scientists lie too. They'll have published this and that. It's not true. It's been proved wrong. They'll use like nicotine cigarettes and stuff like that. Well, okay, was it written in a peer-reviewed journal for other scientists that are not working for the government to see and to review? Or do they hide that information? It's different. It means that those scientists working for the cigarette companies, they had an agenda, but they were not you didn't see their material written in JAMA or New England Journal of Medicine or Cell Magazine or any of these other magazines, did you? Evolutionary Biology or any of that stuff. And you will not see it. It's like creationists when they argue against evolution. You will not see them publishing things in peer-reviewed journals. You will not see them at science conventions. You will not see that. For example, I want to mention a scientist. I had to write it down because sometimes I forget. This man's name is Alfred Wegener. Alfred, of course, and Wegener. He's the guy that proposed, at that time, was the hypothesis of plate tectonics. Now it's a theory of plate tectonics. Scientists didn't take him seriously. Why? Because he could not, at that time, prove it. The only evidence he had was the fact that all the continents fit together like a puzzle piece. That's not proof of plate tectonics. It wasn't until after he died that we now know that plate tectonics happens. Science will change its mind with new information. Ideologies like social justice warriors and religions will not. Social justice warriors do not care about your opinion, they only care about their own. Science doesn't care about your opinion, and there's no authority in science. Social justice warriors and theists have authorities. It can be the Bible, it could be the Pope, it could be the Koran, it could be this professor, this person, that person, who knows. But they all have authorities. Science, there's no authority. Pseudoscience is the same type of stuff. They can say anything. I'm a scientist, I'm a doctor, I'm a PhD in this and that. That means nothing. Just because you can write a book does not make it, just because you write it in a book doesn't make it true. It has to pass peer review. They can make anything they say sound so good. Eat right for your type. Things I already mentioned. What this nonsense I've heard. Magnesium. Your body needs magnesium as much as oxygen. Take a seltzer bath. It cures diseases. This cures diseases. That cures diseases. Herbs this. Herbal this. Herbal that. You know, but they don't offer you any actual peer-reviewed empirical evidence, and they won't when you ask. Now, these 3 questions I want to tell you that you should ask. I got from the atheist experience. I wish I could remember the man's name that I heard say it, but I would love to give him credit for it. I wish I could. I just don't remember your names if you do watch this, which I doubt you will. But basically it is, what do you believe? And then, of course, whatever they tell you, you ask for definitions. The same with social justice warriors or whatever. They say, I'm a feminist. We'll ask them their definition of a feminist. And all this stuff. White privilege. Ask them, what is your definition of that? And then, you know, why do you believe this? What evidence do you have for your belief? Why do you believe this? Why do you believe sodium bicarbonate cures cancer? Do you have evidence for this? Do you have evidence that white privilege exists, that white people are evil? How about, you know, the Crusades? How about the fact that, you know, when the Turks invaded where Turkey is now, they slaughtered all those people that lived there. You know, beheaded people in Egypt, sold them into slavery, murdered their children in front of them, raped and murdered and slayed all those people in Europe. How about that? Aren't they just as bad as these white folks that you hate? How about the Chinese, Native Americans, all these other people? They did some pretty bad atrocities too. Why are you only hating on white folks? And of course, the third question is, of course, why should I believe it? I understand now why you believe it, why you believe this. Why should I believe this? And of course, those same questions you should always ask yourself too about all your beliefs. Okay? And be honest with you, you should love it when someone asks you those questions. And if you cannot answer it, it does not mean you're stupid, doesn't mean your beliefs are wrong or any of that stuff. It just means you actually don't have as much information as you thought, and you need to go search for the information. Pseudoscience, you definitely want to ask those questions. And theists, social justice warrior types, and all these type of people. You always ask those 3 questions. You know, what do you believe? Always get their definitions and everything. You know, why do you believe it? You know, why do you believe this? Why do you believe this works? Why do you believe you need magnesium as much as you need oxygen? If we need magnesium as bad as we need oxygen, if it's required just as much as oxygen, well, why is it if I stop breathing, if I suffocate or someone chokes me, I'll be dead and within a few minutes. But I haven't taken any magnesium in probably a few hours. Whatever food, well, actually, breaking this video, I would say within the last 20 minutes, because I've ate some, you know, nuts and stuff, and that contains a lot of magnesium. But why is it I'm still alive? You know, can you explain that? And third, of course, why should I believe this stuff? Why should I believe what you're saying? What evidence do you have for this that I should believe it? There's a reason why peer review is very difficult. Because you got to convince these scientists that you are right. And another thing about creationists, if they could prove evolution wrong, they would get a Nobel Prize. I believe it's $1 million prize with it. Not only that, they would be opening up fields of research for scientists, because scientists would be so happy if you could just prove evolution. Because they don't worship evolution. There's no such thing as evolutionists. Nobody worships evolution. They will love it if you disproved evolution, because now they can find they would be forced to find another mechanism how life came on Earth. Because just because you disprove evolution doesn't mean there's a God. Even if there is a God, you haven't proved that it's your God. And a lot of this creationism falls into pseudoscience. It does fall into pseudoscience. Creationism, because it masks itself as science, like intelligent design. Therefore, it falls into science. Let's make sure I'm not missing anything. Yeah, that's pretty much with that one. Because some people, you know, they're very easy to manipulate. And, you know, there's some people, no matter how many facts, how much data you give them, they aren't going to believe it. Because let's face it, and I was reading something earlier, there's limits to how rational a person can be. Some people are just more rational and logical than others, but still, for everybody, there's limits. That's why I hope that maybe one day, you know, science can evolve where we don't have to worry about emotions. Also, don't allow your emotions to cloud your judgment. You know, people will make pseudoscientific claims, ideological claims all the time to you. And it does not mean you have to believe what they say. And just because someone doesn't believe what you say doesn't make them your enemy, okay? It does not. It just means you failed to convince that person. There's no reason to hate somebody because they believe different. But pseudoscience, please protect yourself, because that can mean the difference between life and death. Be careful about pseudoscience. A lot of people would love to make money off of you. So please, please, I'm begging you, be careful of pseudoscience. All right, bye.